Alright, we're about to start a foam latex run, and we're going to do a seamless old age neck appliance using a collapsible core mold. Here is the epoxy neck piece. You can see there is no seam along the inside. So we are going to inject from inside this piece. This is the injection, the hole where the foam will be coming out. And this is the two-piece collapsible core. So the neck piece will go on mold here. This pops in. It'll all be bolted together, and we'll flip it upside down and inject the foam. Now, in addition to the injection hole, we've got little bleeder ports all around the mold to allow air to escape, to make sure that when it's injected, being upside down, there will be air escaping. One of the nice things about this mold is made from epoxy. It's gel coat and epoxy dough, so it's really lightweight, extremely lightweight. And another nice thing about using epoxy molds is you don't need to release them when you're doing foam latex, because it is essentially self-releasing. It certainly wouldn't hurt to do a thin layer of foam release, whatever you like to use. I generally go straight with the Monster Maker's foam release. It's essentially stearic acid. Bolting this puppy together. This is the same mold that we baked the foam neck appliance in the parking lot in Atlanta, in the back of Nelson Burke's pickup truck. I've got bolt holes all the way around this thing, but we only need a couple of them because it's a pretty rigid mold. Even though it's very lightweight, there's not any give to it. There, now can you see the injection port here? We use this large foam latex injector. It's pretty easy to make, actually. I bought this one, but you could put this together yourself with stuff you can get at one of the big box hardware stores like Home Depot or Lowe's, or I'm not sure what the equivalent in the UK is, but just a model airplane RC aircraft tire as the plunger, and then some PVC tubing and polyethylene bottles. Now I'm going to add some flow enhancer, or at least I'm going to measure some out now. See that? But that's 12.4 grams. They recommend between 10 and 15 grams per 170 gram batch of foam. So I'm kind of in the middle of that. And this just kind of, the flow enhancer is sort of a soapy solution that will help high volume foam flow a little bit better, because sometimes it doesn't want to move very well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix up into my KitchenAid bowl all of the ingredients, with the exception of the gelling agent, which goes in separately. And I'm going to add, it says 8 to 10 grams per batch. You can go even higher depending on your conditions. I'm going to go 15 grams. 14.9, close enough. And now we're going to measure all the other ingredients into the same bowl. Here's my Monster Maker's foam. There, you see that? And I think they've already used 150 or 170 grams per batch. I'm going 170. $171, also close enough. And we'll tear this out. Now we want to do 30 grams of the foaming agent. Shake it up really well. 30. Okay, perfect. Now curing agent is next, and we do 15 grams of that, so I've got 30 grams on the scale now, so we will go up to 45. Also shake this up really well. Now we are ready to mix these all together. We can turn the scale off. We're going to be working on a 12-minute schedule, and I'll talk to you about all of that. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure the mixer is plugged in, and we are going to mix for 1 minute just to get the ingredients all mixed together. I'm going to go ahead and put the flow enhancer in right now, and at 11 minutes we will whip this up to high speed. This goes up to 10. I'm going to put it on 8 because I don't want it to be too high a volume. And we will do that for 4 minutes. Actually, 5 minutes. And you'll noticeably see how the volume rises in the bowl. I'm going to add a little bit of color to this. Now when this gets down to 8 minutes, we are going to reduce the speed to break up the larger bubbles to start refining it. You can already see the volume coming up. I'm going to bring this down to 6 just because I don't want it to get too much higher. The lower the volume, the denser the foam. The more shrinkage you're going to have, but you'll have a denser foam, which means you've got added tear strength with the denser foam. You can't really tell, but there's a lovely ammonia smell wafting off of this foam, and that's another part of why we're doing this, is to vent off the ammonia carrier in the latex. Now, because I'm using more gelling agent, or will be using more gelling agent, I'm going to add it later. Generally add it at 2 minutes. I'm going to wait until 1.5 minutes before the run is done so to add it. And because the added, it will compensate. And it just gives me a little bit more working time to make sure that I can get the foam out of the bowl into the injector and then into the mold before it starts to gel. Okay, so now we go down to 4. I'll wait it a little long. It'll be okay. Now do this. Now we're going to come down to speed 1. And this is just going to refine and break up all the small bubbles. And we'll stay on this speed now until the end. I'm going to squirt just a little more flow enhancer in there. Okay, so in 1.5 minutes, we're going to add this. Almost ready. 27 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Done. There we go. Now we're going to take this foam and we are going to get it into. There we go. Now we put our injector in. Here we go. coming out all of our vent ports inside. Foam's coming out, looks great. Now we don't take the gun out. We're even getting a little out through the seam, which is fine. Now we wait until this gels. Now gelation can take place anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even a half an hour. The real problem is if it doesn't gel at all, then we have a problem, but I've never had foam not gel. We are at about 15 minutes overall right now, and it's gelling. So we're in good shape. Looking good. Very good. Time to go out to the oven. Now, just because it's gelled outside of the mold doesn't mean it's fully gelled inside, but this is what you want to get to let you know that it is gelled. When you push on it, that's pretty solid. Alright, time to remove the injector carefully. We'll unscrew it here first. See there, it's gelled on the inside. So there's still plenty of it in the tube, so I didn't risk damaging the piece itself. Here I am taking the mold, put it in the oven, opening the door, and we'll put the mold in. Set it right in the center. Close this puppy up. Now we're going to turn the thermostat up to 35, and now we wait. So it's almost 12:25 p.m. on Sunday. Just put the foam in the oven. So at this time, 5 hours from now, we'll take another look at it, and we should be in good shape. So here's some foam that was leaked out from the mold, fully gelled. This is what you want it to be like before you put it in the oven. Perfect. Here's inside the injector. So there you can see what the temperature of the oven is, what it was set for. So we're in good shape there. So now we'll turn the temperature down to 0 and let the mold start to cool. We'll leave the fan on so that the air will continue to circulate, and we'll take a check and make sure everything's okay. So the mold's in, and I pulled out a little bit of the excess. I let it stay in the oven for another hour. Part of it just seemed a little soft. So now here we are ready to demold this using a little technique I learned from Rob Freitas, where we will be able to use so that there's no torque, and we'll just be able to gradually lift the mold apart. Gradually releases itself. As you can see. And we'll go in and powder and loosen that a little bit. So we are loose. There we go. Powder. There we are, full, seamless, and there it is.
check out our podcast, Battles with Bits of Rubber. It's available on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere you're going to find podcasts where you can subscribe and download. So please subscribe and download.